Molly Hunter, is along this route that we're watching from high above here. The Pope's casket flanked by police there on motorcycles, the procession making its way to St. Mary Major. Molly, what are you seeing and hearing there?
They told me they want you on camera.
Great, Craig. I'll just step into our shot right now. You can see the departures coming by. We've seen a lot of, actually you can see them right now. You see a lot of police coming by. These are all of the foreign dignitaries. As we know, more than 50 heads of state, 140 delegations, Craig, and this is the main way out. So we believe that all of these dignitaries will exit before the coffin comes down. We're watching right now to see who's coming up next. Obviously, lots of interest. And if we can see the coffin turning that corner. But again, everyone, Craig, is calm, is peaceful, is waiting for this moment. We have not seen U.S. President Trump go past yet. Watching all of the activity here. There are French flags. But it will be a small motorcade that will be with the Pope's coffin, as you mentioned, that open-air hearse, Craig. But it will include cardinals. It will include members of the Pope's family. It will also include secretaries and butlers, people who are very close to his life. And he chose to be with him in these final steps in the center of Rome. I'm just looking around the corner. You see the crowds. I'm just going to have Jonas show you the crowds a little bit here. You see the crowds are growing, and it's about one thick here. But I'm looking down, further down the route. It's hard to see right now. And people are now stacking 5, 10 deep. So I think what has happened is those 200,000 people, Craig, who were in St. Peter's Square have made their way out to now start lining this route. Again, as you mentioned, it's about a 35, 40-minute walk. They will be moving at a walking pace, so people will have time to line the entire route to Santa Maria Maggiore, Craig.
Molly, stand by. We'll come back to you in just a few moments as we watch that simple wooden coffin make its way through those streets there. Tom Yamas there for us, Ann Thompson there for us as well. And your thoughts as we watch this Pope make his way to his final resting place.
Tom and I were just talking, Craig, that this is the first Pope who's ever been carried in a pickup truck on his way to a burial site. And it is absolutely perfect because this is a Pope who didn't like limos. He traveled in a small Fiat. I mean, I can remember when he was at the White House in 2015, they had all these big security SUVs in the tiny little car. Yeah. And that's what he liked. And on the pickup truck is SCV1, which is the license plate of the Pope-mobile, and then you have that Pope-mobile roof that is on the pickup truck. But it's absolutely perfect.
Very much on brand for Pope Francis. Yes. And so is this moment right here, Ann, right? The people lining the street, even in death, right? He is the people's Pope. He's giving them one more chance to say goodbye, one more chance to get close to him. And what a picturesque Roman scene you see here. People on balconies, people lined along those ancient streets as he's going to wind through the eternal city. You will see some of the sights here, including the Colosseum and the Forum, as he's making his way to his final resting stop, that Basilica. And Ann was just showing me photos. There's a huge crowd gathered at that Basilica as well. So, I mean, this is going to be an ongoing event for the people here in Rome. And, Craig, you got to remember, people had planned trips here to Rome even before this. It's a Jubilee year. It's going to be the World Youth was going to celebrate this week as well. And you had people traveling for the Easter Sunday holiday as well. So you had all these people coming to Rome, and then the Pope died after Easter Sunday, and you have this influx of Catholics and Christians from all over the world coming in, visitors as well, not just Catholics. We've met a lot of people that were waiting in line outside of St. Peter's who were not Catholic, and today, I should say, they're all here to say goodbye.
And the other thing to keep in mind as we watch this is that this journey in particular isn't just about the people. It is the people of the world. He's the Bishop of Rome, and it's a very personal connection between the people of Rome and this Pope.
And Tom, stand by for me, if you can, just a moment here. I want to go back to Molly Hunter along that route there, because, Molly, I understand that the pickup truck that's carrying the Pope is making its way toward you as we speak.
Craig, that's right. It has just come into view. It has just come out of the tunnel. And everyone here just went silent. Everyone has their phones up. Everyone has their cameras. And actually, I'm standing next to Rodrigo. I'm not going to interrupt this moment for you because I know it's really special, but you've just teared up, Craig, and it's hard to see. It's tight quarters here. It's very big crowds. You're a seminarian who actually took part in the Mass. And again, we won't miss this moment. But why did you just tear up as he came through?
I just saw him last week giving his last effort, his last pull, just giving it all for the church. And now I got to say goodbye at his coffin, and now it's the moment to say goodbye to him.
I won't interrupt that moment for you. Craig, we're going to watch as it goes by us right now, as people start to clap.
I don't want to interrupt this moment either. Quite moving indeed, Professor.
And
quite moving indeed.
Craig, being out here on...
Go ahead,
Craig,
Molly.
being out here on the bridge, there's light. I was just going to say there's light applause, but a lot of people just waved in the direction of the hearse. Everyone has their phones up. And everyone just, there was a hushed, kind of calm silence. Everyone was watching very, very respectfully. Actually, I'm going to bring in Mira. Hi. Mira, you were just watching, obviously,
Yes.
as that coffin. Can you just catch your breath and kind of first reaction as you just saw that go by?
I just cannot believe we're here. What an honor to just be in this place and see it. My husband and I were doing a photography workshop, and our whole group from around the U.S. just got here yesterday. And for us to be able to, witness this is incredible.
Can you describe what the atmosphere is like in this crowd right now? The only words I could think of was kind of a hushed calm and kind of a real camaraderie.
It feels like a sense of wonder, too, right? That
we're witnessing this.
Yeah, that we're on the world stage, and the sense of awe of someone who had such impact.
Can I bring in your friends a little bit?
Yeah.
What was your name again?
Lisa.
Lisa, can you tell me just what that moment was like? Because it's incredibly profound.
It is. He was such a loving and kind Pope, so I feel like everyone just is so respectful and loving to each other the last couple days and today in this moment, and I love that.
And that's what he would have wanted. He wanted a diverse group. We've been talking about what an unbelievably diverse group of people that he drew here today. I mean, I'm sure you guys have noticed, you hear every different language along this bridge. You've seen people from every kind of life. Can you tell me what you felt just now?
Yeah,
This is Mira's husband.
There's a sense of gravity to the whole situation, right? I mean, everyone's here to pay respects, and just seeing this many people get together and like I said, it's somber experience, but everyone is very cordial to each other, and everyone reaches out and talks to each other, and so it's just bringing everybody together and
Bringing everyone together, which is exactly what he would have wanted.
Yes, to hear the music and the singing. Yeah. I mean, our hotel is like 4 or 5 blocks away, but it's like we were following the singing, and it was washing over us as we were walking. The whole morning has just felt so sacred.
We really appreciate it, you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Now, Craig, what's happening? We're getting in a little bit of a crowd crush. People are now moving on. So I think there's a sense that we may see the crowds get bigger and bigger along this procession route. We were at the very beginning. As you know, it's 3.7 miles. I think a lot of people are now trying to keep up with that procession, with the coffin, to carry. I'm just looking. There are huge crowds just ahead of us to kind of accompany him to his final resting place, Craig.
So many people there lining the streets to get a front row seat to history. Father Bartunik is with me here in the studio, and we can also, as we wait for the Pope to make his way to his final resting place, we can tell you that we've been told that the tomb, as you might imagine, going to be quite simple, just his name on it. But the marble that will be used inside that tomb, that marble is coming from his home country of Argentina. There is a picture that was released earlier this week of the tomb itself. But Father, I want to come back to you and talk about something that was brought up earlier. So much has been made of this particular Pope's appeal. For folks who may be unfamiliar with your backstory, it is quite interesting. You're a priest now, but before you were a priest, you were a high school history teacher, a drama director, a baseball coach. You spent a year as an actor in Chicago. You decided to forego Hollywood for the priesthood, but you discovered your faith later in life than most, your Catholic faith. What did this Pope mean to those who were not Catholic, those who perhaps have struggled with faith in their lives?
Yeah, well, I think everything that we've been talking about and seeing came across in everything the Pope did. The Pope was so close to people, and his whole approach to evangelization, and I agree with Cardinal Ray, he said that the guiding principle of his papacy was really evangelization, mission, bringing the good news to people. And his approach to evangelization was make the good news, start with the good news, start with the encounter with a real person, and then bring the doctrine in later.
Father, this is just an amazing vantage point of the Pope passing the Colosseum there.
Yeah, you think about the Colosseum as a place where actually early Christians were martyred in the early years of the church. The ruins of the Colosseum there, and the papacy continuing through the centuries. Pope Francis, who carried the torch for his 12 years. And Cardinal Ray's homily actually ended with the phrase, the torch of hope, that he implored the Pope from heaven to pray for humanity, that we can continue to raise the torch of hope. So I think when you see kind of even history just telescoped in this camera shot, I think we're kind of feeling the hope that Pope Francis always communicated.
It really is just quite remarkable on so many levels. And you're also reminded of just how much history lives in Italy, Rome is especially. And again, for folks who might just be joining us, this is Pope Francis being carried to his final resting place. We saw the roughly 2-hour funeral at St. Peter's, and then he was loaded into the back of his Pope Mobile and is taking this procession just under 4 miles outside the city. And again, it bears repeating, this is a Pope who insisted on not being buried inside St. Peter's Basilica. And Professor, we talked earlier about not just the significance of that, but how this is actually going to make it more accessible to folks who want to go and pay their respects. How so?
That's right. It's more open than St. Peter's. It's in a poor neighborhood of Rome. It's very close to Termini, the main train station in Rome. So fitting for a Pope who talked so much about people on the move and migrants. So it will become a place, it's already a place of pilgrimage, but it will become even more so.
Tom, and I know you're continuing to watch these images play out as well. And Ann Thompson, again, I think it also bears repeating, this is a scene that you've seen a number of times. You have covered the Catholic Church. You've covered the Pope for a number of years here at NBC. A penny for your thoughts.
I'm just struck by how even in death he keeps breaking molds. I mean, I have seen a lot of Pope Mobile rides around the world, but I've never seen anything quite like this. And you hear that sustained applause from the people who've gathered there. And yet, for as amazing this is, I think what we will find that will be most moving is when he gets to Santa Maria Maggiore. And there are going to be people who are poor, transgender, homeless, migrants who are going to hold white roses and line the steps and accompany the casket on its last journey. And I think it's so perfect because Pope Francis used his power to accompany them in the 12 years of his papacy. Now, at the end of his life, they're accompanying him.
And something notable, you know, the icon that Pope Francis would pray to at that basilica was brought here to St. Peter's, and it was right up there in the altar. And it's the place where he would pray before and after every papal trip. And Mary was such a big part of his life and his ministry. And he would talk not only about that icon, but also Mary, the Mary of Knots, the mother, where she's untying the knots in Germany, was so important to him. As we talk about his role with women, and it's interesting, Ann, because as much as he did things publicly for women or for the LGBTQ community, when you talk to other Vatican watchers, and you hear it from cardinals that are considered conservative within the Catholic Church, they say a lot of the dogma never changed. He did lots of things publicly, but the Catholic Church, the dogma, never changed.
So that's very true. He said he was not in support of women's ordination. He said that John Paul II had closed the book on that. He was considering for the second time the issue of whether women could be made deacons. But as Kathy said, what he really did was within the Curia separate the path for advancement from a Roman collar. And so you have one woman who is head of the dicastery, which is a department here in the Vatican. You have another woman, a nun, who is running the Vatican City, essentially the mayor of Vatican City. And then you have Sister Natalie Beckhart, who was the first woman to have a vote in the Synod of Bishops. So he pried open that door, and that was difficult in and of itself. But you've got to remember, this is a 2,000-year-old institution that doesn't move on a dime.
Everything takes a long time here, and that's the big question: where does it go from here? But as we're talking, the applause seems to be getting louder and louder as he makes his way through Rome, headed towards that basilica in his final resting spot. And then, Ann, we know that there will be ceremonies there today and tonight, going into tomorrow, correct?
Right. The actual burial itself, we will not be able to see. That will be closed. Tonight, there will be a rosary at the Basilica. I don't know if that's going to be televised. And then tomorrow afternoon, the cardinals are going to go and pray a rosary at Francis' tomb.
And you had pointed out that a lot of these cardinals have been hosting events in the lead up to this funeral, praying rosaries at that basilica. And it's sort of, here we go. This is actually one of our first looks here that we can see of the basilica. I was out there earlier in the week, and so many people were gathered there. We spoke with the cardinal who's in charge of that basilica. He's the Cardinal of Lithuania, and he I asked him, I said, when you vote in the conclave, are you going to vote for a pope that will take the church in a more progressive manner? Are you going to vote for a pope that will take the church in a more conservative manner? He said, I want to vote for a pope that's going to take the church in the way of the gospel. And you hear that from a lot of the cardinals. You could say it's sort of the political answer, but it's where a lot of these cardinals believe the church should go. As we were seeing our first sort of live images as that Pope Mobile is making its way in reverse to leave the coffin here, carrying Pope Francis as it's going to enter Santa Maria Maggiore. And as you mentioned, we're not going to see the entombment, but we have seen pictures of the tomb so far. It is very simple. It simply says Franciscus. It's the way he wanted it. There are other popes that are buried here, but we have not seen this, and we should remind our viewers, Ann, we have not seen this. The world has not seen this, anything like this, in more than 100 years.
Yeah, no, this is completely unique in modern times, and very much Francis. I got a text from a Catholic leader in the U.S. as we were on the air that said it's the end of one era and the beginning of another, and you really feel that today as you watch this. And as you mentioned, because those men who were there, the cardinals who were there, one of them, there's that icon.
Yeah, there it is right there.
We've been talking about.
Which they carried through the streets, right? They thought it could help cure the plague centuries ago. It is, for Catholics, the ultimate icon to Mary.
So here are the people representing the poor, the marginalized, the homeless, the migrants, holding those white roses to welcome the body of Pope Francis. I
spoke to a Syrian refugee who Pope Francis helped get out of a refugee camp, and she says she doesn't know if her family would be alive without Pope Francis and with the group that helped them. Craig, we're going to send it back to you in studio from here in the Vatican.
Tom Yamas and Thompson, thank you both so much for your work this morning. And again, we have been watching the funeral of Pope Francis. As you saw there, his simple wooden casket has now arrived at St. Mary Major, where he will be entombed, the first pope in more than 100 years to be buried outside St. Peter's, as we watch the parade of clergy, the bishops, the cardinals, all of them making their way into St. Mary Major as well. We're told this is going to be a private ceremony as well. We can also tell you that the Pope's tomb, very much like the Pope himself, very simple, made from marble that was brought in from his birth country, Argentina. The only word on his tomb will be his name.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.